Thank you to our premier partner, Pinata. Pinata makes it simple to store and retrieve media on IPFS and build social applications with Farcaster. Visit pinata.cloud for all the power tools for IPFS and Farcaster. GM Farcaster. It is Monday, June 3rd, and you are here with Adrienne and Nounish Prof for 29 minutes of Farcaster news to start your day and to start Onchain summer. It is June 3rd, so here we go. We're officially calling it. And it is.
And how has it not already been summer? Because pretty sure I've heard about nothing but Onchain summer.
I know, but this is the official start. It's
okay,
official now.
Summer.
Happy summer. And it's official. And this from Linda to start us off, actually. I loved seeing this. We hit my personal goal of over 100K community bounty prize pool for Base's on-chain summer buildathon starting today. New bounties by Graph Protocol, Matcha, DevCon, Decent DAO, Frames, and more coming on Bountycaster. DC me to post one. So that's exciting. So here we go. And then on Tuesdays, when we do our CastOut edition for the month of June, we'll be doing that at noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll also highlight some things that are going on with Onchain Summer. So look for that. So it's going to be fun. And in other news, new on Warpcast Web, login with email. Sends you a one-click magic link, makes it easier to set a shared account for a company or project to an alias for easy login. While login with phone works most of the time, there have been a long tail of phones that don't seem to work with the QR code. So there you go. I was thinking about this, though. I wonder if the login with email is what's causing like some new level of extreme follower spam. So I've seen a few people post like, why do I have a zillion news followers? So I'm wondering if that is the reason. What do you think?
It's because you're casting bangers and
that could be
everybody loves you and everyone has seen your talent.
That's definitely it.
Followers.
That's definitely it. It couldn't possibly be that we suddenly have this huge influx of new and exciting accounts. Of course, I'm not logged into Unlonely. I'm trying to get logged in right now. So you're just going to have to handle the chat completely.
Okay, fine. I was logged into Unlonely about 4 minutes ago, and now I'm not. So.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're doing great today. We're doing great today. And my thing decides it's not going to let me log in. It's really fun when it does that. Anyway, we're going to move on. Hopefully, hi chat. I'll just say hi chat since I can't actually say hi chat. And then we have a few other things happening from the Warpcast team. Summary of all recent updates for direct casts on web, better group management, easier access to invites, quick actions on messages in the inbox, pinned messages in group chats. So all cool things. And then release some small, but this is from Horsefacts, release some small but meaningful improvements to Mint with warps. Much better at detecting supported mints, faster responses, fewer broken images. Prompts always expand to show the mint price. And if Mint with warps is unavailable, see why in the prompt, which that's really helpful. Because sometimes it wasn't available and you couldn't see why. Go ahead.
So I just noticed this is actually like almost 2 weeks old, that update. But someone started recasting it lately, and I love the arc when you're in the faster responses, fewer broken images, which just means you're polishing. And it's not about kind of what features you're adding, but just making the experience better. So yay, thank you.
And there's another, and I don't think I have the cast ready to go, but there's another update from Horsefacts about frames within direct casts. So within direct casts, group casts, the frame will show a little preview and you can actually expand it right within the direct cast without having to leave, which is pretty cool. So if you want to send somebody like a frame and then they can see exactly what it is rather than just seeing a link to the Warpcast post or something like that. So that is a nice, cool feature that's going to come in really handy today for our CastOut players, which I'll explain in just a little bit. I'm going to keep you just hanging on there just a little bit longer, but it's going to be fun. So a few other fun things to chat about today. This from Polluter of Minds, if it wants to load for me, there we go. Many of you have been following along and participating in the discussion around FIP171, the long cast proposal. I felt like the proposal was pretty solid as is, so I wanted to see what it was like to build a client with it. Instead, I built 3-in-1 app, and you can check that out at www.fip171.com. So I don't know if did you have a chance to check this out, and are you still just holding strong on your I do not like long casts thing?
To clarify my position, I don't like long casts fully in the same feed as my short casts. Okay. So in his proposal, there's I like the proposal. It works because it provides support without ruining my feed. Anyway, but how cool is that when you're having did I say argument? When you're having a
discussion.
People have opinions. When you're having a discussion about what something should be, but to be able to kind of mock up a quick prototype, and be able to see it, it's like, oh, good job. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's another reason I love this ecosystem is that it's not all just talk. There's a lot of do and action and bias towards action, which I think is really, really helpful.
I feel like we do a lot of talking though.
Well, that's kind of our action. Does that count as our action? I'm counting it as our action.
I love it.
I think it is. I'm also looking for, here it is, from Pugson along the same topic. I thought this was interesting. I don't want unlimited character count for casts, but it would be great to extend it to 560 right now. Sometimes you just got to say a few more words or another sentence. And I did tag you in this, and you had thoughts. You had thoughts.
I just realized maybe you didn't know. Maybe you guys didn't know
that I could reply.
That you can reply to your own cast. And that adds
I was aware.
Comments that other people can follow along. So if for some reason you hit that limit, you can add.
We call that a thread back in the world of Twitter. So
if you want to do a thread, actually, and if you feel inclined to do a thread, you can actually write long form on paragraph. And
that's another option. Yes, this is the rest of Adrienne's cast here. Let me help you in Pugson. See that button? You can use it to continue your thoughts when you run out of room. Need a lot more space for in-depth writing? Try paragraph. And my comment back to you was opportunity for another paragraph post instead of another client. But a great point. Not, I don't disagree, but also
I'm not anti long form. Long form is very important. Just don't want it in my feed.
Just don't want it in your feed. Okay. I get it. All right. And in other news, new on Warpcast, frame support in direct cast. Oh, this is what we were just talking about. If you paste a frame, I knew I had this somewhere. I couldn't find it. If you paste a frame URL into a direct cast, you'll get a minified version with an expand icon. Tap the frame to expand. And here's a couple examples with letsgetjessibald.com. So there you go. And the Yellow Collective's auction frame, which can be expanded right within the direct cast. That's pretty cool.
So let's say you have a frame. Really nice feature. Yeah. So it's like, here's something I want to see a friend. You can send them directly your cast to mint. Maybe you have a vote. Let's say you're in some Survivor-esque show and you have a frame that you're sending that people have to vote. You can do it directly from direct in your group chats. Super fun.
Exactly. Yeah, I think this is really going to come in handy. Super useful. And also in regards to direct cast, what's your direct cache wish list? Recent improvements based on feedback, message request, mark unread, pin conversations in inbox, pin messages in group DCs, frames in DCs, better group management. Reply with a request and be sure to like other requests you agree with. So if you go and look through this thread, yes, people replied, and it does continue their thoughts there. You can like the replies that you think are interesting as well if you don't have any specific ideas to share with Dan. So lots of activity around direct cast, which I think is super useful. Okay, moving on to other things. This from Chris Corella. Congrats to everyone who received Purple Retro funding. I was blown away by the quality and quantity of good work happening on Farcaster. Claim your rewards here and visit rounds to see all the winners. I counted 30 and then stopped counting. So there were a lot of winners in this round, Purple Retroactive Funding Round 6. And you can claim right within this frame from rounds. So this is another example of, you could also see how programmatic direct cast could be incorporated with frames for something like this, where this could be sent to the winners so that they don't miss a claim when they've won something in a round. So little idea for you there, Seneca, to add a little bit more work to your day, but it'll make it a lot easier for people to claim. So we did win a retro funding, a little bit of retro funding in this round. So thank you, Purple voters. We appreciate you.
We love you, Purple.
Support. We love you, Purple. We love you, Purple.
And we're both in purple.
We are both in purple.
We're both purple. Thank you. Thank you. Did you see what was funny? So this was the first round that was where the voting was in feed through likes. I know we're not going to do a whole episode on it, but it's interesting to compare the two and how they work. So maybe someday we'll
could actually ask Seneca to come on and talk about rounds, because prior to this, the Purple Retro rounds were done on prop.house, which was a way that you would just go to that site, you would submit your proposal, here's what I did in the last 3 months or whatever it was for the retro funding. And then the Purple token holders would go and vote on that same site, and they would go through and pick their top ones based on the number of tokens that they had. So the way that rounds works is it's in feed, it's in a particular channel, and the manager of that round can set up the parameters. So Chris set this up that only the likes from Purple holders would have any weight. So that's the ones that counted. And you also had to tag with a hashtag retro, I think it was retro PGF or something like that. And you tag that so that it would sort of filter out all the other casts within the channel. And so that was how that works. It's being tweaked and worked on. So Nouns just funded, essentially Prop House is sunsetting and focusing and going all in on rounds. And there is going to be a long form version at some point. They're doing taking in a lot of feedback and doing a lot of changes and iterating. But this is going to be the primary way that they're going to focus moving forward. So more Prop House, only rounds. And so we'll see a lot of iterations on that. But we could invite Seneca to come on and talk more about it and talk about sort of also what's the roadmap and where he's going with this and why it's important to the ecosystem.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. It's definitely easier. It's easier to vote in your feed, but then you kind of miss out. If you miss something, how does popularity or kind of reach impact the votes? The funniest thing I saw was on Chris Corella's announcement, where he's saying this is how it's going to work. He said, here are the instructions, and you have to use this hashtag, which is funny that we're using hashtags, by the way, hashtag retro PGF, because he used that hashtag and people liked his cast. He got funding for that cast, which wasn't an application. So interesting.
So there are little quirks, and so if you're the moderator for a round, you can go in and hide casts so they aren't counted. So that would have been an example of he should have gone in and hid the cast, but it's like another work. It's another thing you have to do and think about. So he just didn't think about it. But there is a way to at least adjust that right now. And you can go to rounds.wtf and see everything filtered for that round, but it still has bugs and things that need to be, tweaked.
Not bugs,
So,
not bugs,
yeah,
just things that
not
haven't
bugs.
been polished yet. A little
There you
janky,
go.
and it will get better.
There you go. Janky. Yep, that's a better way. It's not really a bug. It's not really a feature either. It's that we're in the in-between. In the in-between. But it was great to see all the retro rounds that happened, and amazing. And so congratulations to all the winners. So and we'll look forward to the next retro round and see how that changes from previous ones. I'm sure that'll be a little different as well. So exciting stuff. And then we have this from Adrienne commenting on Jesse's though. So this was Jesse was honored to read this profile on my work at base. Only problem was it was behind a paywall. We worked with Fortune team to mint it to demonstrate the power of on-chain media and make it accessible to everyone. And there we go. The mint frame's not really showing, but it is a copy of the article from Fortune magazine. And I loved what you said. Excited to read this later, but now minted it to show trad media how we do it. And I did love, I love this. I'm really tired of paywalls. Crypto does fix this. Even if you want a subscription, you can token gate it. So crypto does fix this. I think it's the way to go rather than having to deal with constantly logging in or ads that just like ruin your whole reading experience and all of that. So hopefully we get there. But this was great to see, and also great to see Jesse getting featured in Fortune magazine. That's pretty amazing. So congrats to him.
It was a fun read.
Yeah, it's great to see the recognition coming.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. What did you take from that? Anything else you want to comment on that?
I loved the history. I mean, like it was a light article.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't super heavy. But I didn't know Jesse's background in terms of like the kind of okay, I've maybe outgrown my role at Coinbase. What do I do next? And Brian Armstrong kind of giving them, go figure out what you want to do. And what sort of things that base, layer 2 base was not the first one. It was like, how do we get let's get Coinbase on chain. Mm-hmm. And the first idea wasn't a layer 2 and it wasn't base. It was like, let's make Coinbase a DAO and other things. And I liked hearing the drama of the board laughing at him when he asked for $1 billion to put Coinbase as a DAO, because I can only imagine. But they loved his enthusiasm. I mean, there's no one more enthusiastic than Jesse.
No one.
And it just, there's one quote that he says he's doing what he's meant to. He feels like he's doing what he's meant to be doing. And I think it's so evident, and it makes me really happy to see. I'm happy for him and I'm happy for us.
I couldn't agree with that part more. Like he's in his element. He's in his lane, moisturized, hydrated, all that whole meme. Like I do have to shout out again, and I've said this a couple times before for different reasons, but I think Brian Armstrong's leadership and which filters down to the top leadership at Coinbase is really important within our space, within our industry, because it filters down. And it filters
through a Farcaster.
Yes.
Since
absolutely.
Everyone.
Go ahead, say it.
Because there's this Coinbase mafia and everyone grew up there and learned the ways.
Yeah.
And I did read, and I did mint the article, and I think it's, I can imagine traditional media having no idea what the business models are or even how. So I think it's cool that they did it, and it would be interesting to be able to show them other ways of generating revenue.
The ways of our world. Come back to the ways of our world. Our chat is spamming. Cabal is real. Cabal is real. Okay. Speaking of cabals, I love this from Geckers. It's weird. I do believe crypto is a cult with all my heart, but there's really no charismatic leader. Maybe it's just a bunch of tiny micro cults. At FarCon, I got tripped for a second because I felt like I joined a cult, actually upsetting feeling. I thought this was really interesting. And my response back was, we have had this combo in nouns more than once, reviewing the characteristics of a cult. Like literally I've gone through and read through the characteristics of a cult. My go-to disclaimer on Noun O'Clock Spaces is often NFA, NLA, probably not a cult. I just said this the other day. Now that we have matching tattoos, this is a little harder to sell, but there's no charismatic leader. And then I CC'd Robot Fish Girl, and she responded, "'Tis I, the charismatic leader." No, but really, we joke about it a lot, but I think there really is a lot of overlap in terms of fervor, and it's worth staying alert. It's excellent that we're also passionate, but vital that we don't let it snowball. And I think it was really interesting to see many people chiming in of like, yeah, I got that vibe. Yeah, that first day of FarCon felt a little weird at the beginning. And so what was your take on this?
I mean, the first rule of being in a cult is you don't call it a cult.
Right, exactly.
I finally listened to DeWoofy's first episode of his new pod, Vibe.
I haven't had a chance yet. I have to.
Oh no, DeWoofy, what's the name of it? Vibe Check? Vibe something? Vibe Tribes? Oh. Anyway, his term, I think he used is intentional communities, which sounds...
That sounds much nicer.
Completely innocuous, neutered version of cult. So I liked it.
Yeah, that's I like that term a lot. I think that's a good term. And by the way, we're going to be streaming DeWoofy's first episode on Wednesday after GM Farcaster. So more info on that coming soon as we actually launch our GM Farcaster network, which we haven't really talked much about that yet on here, but very soon, maybe on Wednesday, actually, we'll dive into a little bit of that and share what we have planned. But yeah, I thought this was really interesting that Kecker's it resonated with many people. And I thought that was fascinating because it's something that within nouns we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
We've had those checks, those moments of like, are we a little culty?
I guess what's ironic is everyone's rugged individualism. Like if that's what pulls us together to make us a cult, then we're like, but I don't really want to be in one.
I think that's the funny part. We are such there's this very punk rock kind of like rebel thing that runs through all of us that are here. So I think it's really funny that we all just continuously check. Are we in a cult? We're not in a cult. Are we in a cult? Are we not in a cult? Right.
It pulls us together. You have this common thing, right? Pulls us together, but then you have that like you put two magnets at the same, they repel each other. Then it's like, nah, too close.
No, too close. It's just funny, but it's good to see at least, take a check every once in a while. Cult check, everybody. This from I Speak Nerd. This is really fun. This Tuesday, June 4th, 11 a.m. PDT, who will prove their mettle in Dominion Arena and emerge the Farcaster champion. Farcaster familiars, DWR.eth, at Ted, at Cassie, Dominioners, DeWoofy, Rustopian, Lynx, and Matthew. Wildcard, Visual Observer. These are the players of Dominion. Betting announcement from Bracket Game to follow. Oh, I was reading that and I wasn't showing it. Sorry about that.
I got you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And then you can go check this out in the /tabletop channel. So this is fun. I know nothing about Dominion. I have never played. So I love board games, but this is one that I've never played. So I'm excited to learn more and see all about what happens. Lynx is in a Dominion cult. Okay.
I've never played Dominion, and I don't know if it was, I think it might have been too late, but Vitalik casted something about, he's a new alpha about language where games, we used to talk games, and that started turning people off because it sounds too casino-ish. So now people, esports, we use the word esports.
We do use
so maybe we'll debate that tomorrow, but shocker, I hate them. I hate it. Because just separately, I just find it's like if you're not a gamer or you're not into sports, like the signal you're getting is not for you. And I would like to as someone who was not into sports growing up or gaming or video games, and yet I found myself here. I'm just.
You're also pretty competitive though too, which is really interesting.
Super competitive. Yeah. But I'm just kind of aware of like when you use language, you're putting out, you put your beacon of light out and you're attracting people. And if you want to not attract certain people, then keep saying we're all about esports.
So I will say this. So I am not a gamer. And I have gotten to know a lot more about esports from the Nouns esports team. And I was hanging out with Sasquatch while we were in Consensus and Brennan. And they're the ones who, started the Nouns esports team, and Sasquatch is the manager of that. And it's really interesting. And it's also very interesting right now. It's also a very male dominated space. And there's actually an all-female team that plays, I think it's CSGO, that is going for a prop with Nouns. So this would be the first all-female team that Nouns would be sponsoring. And I think it's really cool. And it's interesting. They do train just like athletes. Like they do the same, like physically. So there's a lot of very interesting pieces to it. And it was really exciting to see Nouns esports in this big championship last year called the TI, the International for Dota. And I'm saying words that I do not know what I'm saying, but I don't understand Dota. I don't know what it is, but I was watching it and I got excited for the team. I had no idea what I was watching, but I could still appreciate it and appreciate the work that they put in and appreciate like that this is something that they're very passionate about, even if it's something that like I have no idea what's going on and it's not something that I'm going to play or whatever. I can still appreciate others who are playing. So, and there is a interesting like spectator element to it when it's done at a high level. So, stay open to it, I guess is my point. Stay a little bit open.
Oh, and to be clear, I'm fully open. I think I know you are. Part of this was like, entering this space, I've been able to learn so much more about other areas. By the way, having also just seeing kids that get into it. Right. But I think that's my point is, the whole world of gaming and sport, it really is fascinating. It's fascinating. By the way, this sounds like a good lead into CastOut.
It really does. Yeah.
Super fascinating. But if you're just not at all into it, I just want to be able, how do you make it still inviting for people who?
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's a great point. But I do think there are efforts being made to do just that. And I think this by tabletop and I Speak Nerd, I think this is a great approach of how do you interact with this game? You can play along with bracket game. You can be a spectator on Unlonely when it's being streamed, things like that. And I think that is bringing other people in who maybe aren't able to play. And that's a great example with CastOut. So today we're starting CastOut, and CastOut is a game that we're going to be playing online, Onchain. There are only 16 players. However, you have the opportunity to participate. And today is the first challenge. So here we go. GM Farcaster's Onchain Summer starts today with CastOut. 16 players will try to outwit, outplay, and outcast for a chance to win 100,000 DGen. Players will start in 2 tribes, Mole and Wow Wow, and today is the first tribe challenge. The 2 tribes will compete in a 24-hour Yoink challenge with a custom frame by Horsefax. Thanks, Horsefax. The tribe that holds the flag in the longest wins immunity. The losing tribe will vote to cast out one of the players. In addition, this is a reward challenge. Want to know what you're playing for? The player holding the flag when the game ends wins 1,000 DGen from the CastOut.eth prize wallet. If you're not a CastOut player, you can still play along. Back your favorite player on bracket.game. If you have a GM Farcaster Hypersub, you can claim free packs or pick up some shares at bracket.game. See the /CastOut channel for more info. You can also play the public Yoink game in the Yoink channel. Throughout the next 24 hours, I'll yoink the flag 16 times and tip the person that I yoink 500 DGen. If you hold a GM Farcaster episode in your wallet, I'll tip you 1,000 DGen. Are you ready, Anon? Let's outwit, outplay, and outcast this on-chain summer with CastOut from GM Farcaster. And thank you to Pinata, our premier sponsor for CastOut and GM Farcaster. Okay, so today is the first challenge, and this is a team challenge, a tribe challenge. So it is going to be the winning tribe, the one tribe that holds the flag the longest in the next 24 hours in the custom game. So this is a custom game that Horsefax built for just the CastOut players. So they're the only ones who can play in that particular frame. And I'll be dropping that frame at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific into the 2 tribe channels, as well as on the CastOut, in the CastOut channel on Warpcast. And they'll be able to yoink the flag. So this is like a capture the flag game. If you're not familiar with Yoink, it's one of the, I think it was the first frame game by Horsefax. And you're essentially just grabbing the flag and trying to hold it as long as possible. So it's going to be done by team though for this one. So I'll be adding up all the times for each team, and then whoever's held it the longest will win immunity, and they will not have to lose somebody from their tribe. The losing team will have to vote somebody out tomorrow, and they will vote out the person. They will have a voting frame that will drop at noon tomorrow into their direct chat. They'll have 15 minutes to vote somebody out. So you have to think a little bit ahead. And then we'll announce it during our special CastOut edition of GM Farcaster between noon and 12:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, right here on Unlonely. So that's what's happening. And then 2 other points to this. If you're not one of the 16 players, you still have a chance to win some DGen today. So you can yoink on the public Yoink game. And I am just going to randomly 16 different times today or during the next 24 hours, I'm going to yoink the flag. Whoever I take it from is going to get tipped DGen. I'm going to tip them 500 DGen. If I check their wallet and they're holding a GM Farcaster episode, they get 1,000 DGen in a tip. And then also the last person that I yoink from will get 1,000 DGen from the CastOut.eth wallet, as well as the player within the CastOut frame. Whoever the last player I yoink from will also get 1,000 DGen from the CastOut.eth wallet. So, Adrienne, as one of the players.
Yes.
Yes.
By the way, does that mean that your tipping allowance is more than 3,
My tipping
4,
allowance
5?
is back. I'm like, woohoo! I can do some things now.
Okay.
I checked yesterday. I was like, oh, yay, I'm back. So I can
Mine
just use
is
my
not
tips.
back.
Mine is back. So I can just use my tips. I didn't have to, but I'm still going to be tipping also from actually not tipping, but actually sending DGen to the final 2. So the final person that I yoink from in the actual public game and the final person that I yoink from in the CastOut game will get 1,000 from the CastOut.eth wallet. So lots of fun things happening today.
All right. I love this first challenge. I love this first challenge. I loved your teaser last night.
Yes, I had a teaser. Yep.
And that was classic.
And I'll be doing teasers. So make sure you're following the CastOut channel, because I will be doing teasers of each of the different like as I'm dropping challenges the day before, I will put a little teaser in there so that you can start to kind of guess what it is that I'm up to. And you know, I'm a little crazy sometimes. So
and I just feel bad. I feel bad for my son when I tell him why I can't take him to soccer tonight.
Okay, so I promised everyone who was playing that I wouldn't make this very time consuming, and except for this particular one, but it's really up to you guys. I'm not making it time consuming.
Okay.
I personally am not.
No, it's fine.
I'm like,
I just don't going for the next 24 hours.
I have a feeling that that's what's going to happen. And I am going to make a suggestion to the players. By the way, this was the hint that I put out there yesterday, and most people figured it out pretty quick. 16 red flags with a horse and a fax. So if you knew, you knew. So, but you all could decide, and I'm going to suggest this in the chats. The 2 tribes could say, we want to have a ceasefire between this time and this time. I think that's probably not going to happen. But we'll see. We shall see. We shall see.
No, and I need to go see what time zones these teams are made up of.
They're all pretty much, there's a couple Europeans, but most of the time zones are in the US, in North America. So for this particular round. So this may be the only truly, it could be a bit time consuming situation.
Right, I'm about to go give away my private keys, get my friend in Asia log in with email ability, and I'll be yoinking all night. Okay, bye. Bye-bye. I figured it out.
That was creative. I didn't even think of that aspect. That's you know, there's a lot of ways to approach this. I think that's what I'm most excited about. I'm really excited to see the strategies. I'm excited to see the strategies of the teams, and then I'm excited to see strategies of individual players and how they approach this, because there's so many different ways to approach this in terms of the way you organize, the way you think about this. And I think this is part of like the fun for me, is to watch like how do people organize themselves in this situation and play and try to win and see what works too. It'll be interesting to see what strategies.
And you said custom frame, so I can bribe Horsefacts and have him hard code.
No, you cannot bribe Horsefacts. Okay. Horsefacts is not bribable.
Just thinking out loud. Just thinking out loud here.
This is a custom frame, so only the players can play in that particular frame. Only the 16 CastOut players. So I think I might be able to as well, but that's it. So no one else can yoink, right. And he can.
Go team Mole, let's go.
Yep. So good luck to the tribes. We'll report back tomorrow. Anything else before we wrap, Adrienne? We're a little bit over because I knew the CastOut thing was going to take a little bit.
I've got people in other time zones offering to yoink the flag for me in our chat. Look, guys, we're totally going to win.
Oh my God. This is
I'm excited. Fun. Happy Onchain summer, day one.
Happy Onchain summer, day one. Here we go. And don't forget to go, if you are a Wawa or Mole Hyper subscriber for GM Farcaster, please go check out, go grab your packs. Go into the CastOut channel, you have free shares of different players. So you can go back these players. You can also go to bracket.game, and trading will begin today on different players. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And with that, we're going to call it. So have a lovely day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, noon Eastern, for our CastOut edition. And I will be with my co-host, Tim Riley, because Adrienne's playing, so she can't be on as my co-host tomorrow. And that's it. So we'll see you. Yoink, yoink, yoink. We will see you tomorrow. And with that, bye-bye.